The autumn rain tapped rhythmically against the windows of Diana's loft apartment in downtown Austin, Texas. At 38 years old, she sat curled up on her vintage leather couch, staring at the website on her laptop screen. Beto Alves, sexologist and tantric practitioner, specializing in female libido restoration, sexual energy work, and somatic therapy. Diana was a successful architect, known throughout Austin for her innovative designs that blended modern aesthetics with environmental sustainability. Her buildings won awards. Her career flourished. But her personal life, her inner life, felt like a barren landscape. She couldn't remember the last time she'd felt genuine pleasure. Not just sexual pleasure, though that had certainly vanished years ago, but pleasure of any kind. Food was fuel. Music was background noise. The stunning hill country sunsets that once moved her to tears now barely registered. It was as if someone had turned off the sensory input to her soul, leaving only the functional parts operating. Her libido hadn't just decreased, it had completely flatlined. 3 years without any flicker of desire, 3 years of feeling like a stranger in her own body. She functioned perfectly well, better than well, actually. She worked 12-hour days, maintained friendships, kept her apartment immaculate, but she felt nothing. What frightened Diana most was the creeping realization that she'd become a shell. She moved through life performing the motions of living without actually experiencing anything. She was present at dinners with friends but couldn't taste the food. She attended concerts but the music didn't touch her. She existed, but she didn't feel alive. Medical tests revealed nothing wrong. Hormones were normal. Physical health was excellent. Her therapist had helped her work through childhood issues and career stress, but this particular emptiness remained untouched. It was her yoga instructor, Michelle, who first mentioned Beto Alves. "He helped me after my hysterectomy," Michelle had shared after class one evening. "I thought I'd never feel sexual or sensual again. But Beto's work isn't just about sex. It's about reconnecting with your life force, your capacity to feel. He uses breathwork, somatic practices, energy cultivation. It changed everything for me." Diana had researched thoroughly before reaching out. Beto's credentials were impressive, trained in sexology, various tantric traditions, and somatic experiencing therapy. His approach, described on his website, focused on what he called embodied presence, teaching people to inhabit their bodies rather than just operate them. His specialized technique, intimate alchemy, was described as a tantric method for cultivating and circulating sexual energy throughout the body, transforming it from something purely physical into a healing, vitalizing force. After weeks of deliberation, Diana had finally sent an inquiry. Beto's response had been warm and professional, and now she had an initial consultation scheduled for the following Thursday. As she closed her laptop, Diana felt something she hadn't experienced in years, a tiny spark of possibility. Session 1. The Assessment. Beto's practice was located in a converted craftsman house in South Austin, surrounded by live oaks and landscaped with native plants. When Diana arrived, she was greeted by a man with calm, observant eyes and an immediately centering presence. At 35, Beto moved with the fluid awareness of someone completely at home in his body, something Diana found herself envying immediately. "Diana, welcome," he said, his handshake firm but gentle. "Please come in." The space was thoughtfully designed, natural light streaming through large windows, comfortable seating areas with soft textures, plants in every corner, and the subtle scent of cedar. There was a massage table in one area, but Beto guided her to 2 cushioned chairs near a window overlooking the garden. "Tell me what brought you here," Beto began, his voice calm and non-judgmental. Diana took a deep breath. As an architect, she was used to presenting complex ideas clearly, but talking about this felt different, more vulnerable. "I feel disconnected," she started. "From my body, from pleasure, from life itself. I haven't felt sexual desire in 3 years, none at all. But it's bigger than that. I don't feel pleasure in anything. It's like all my sensations are filtered through layers of cotton. Everything is muted, distant. She described her days, productive, efficient, but empty of vitality. She talked about how she could design buildings that evoked emotion in others, but felt nothing herself. About how she feared something essential in her had died and might never return. I've done traditional therapy, Diana continued. I've processed my past, worked through issues, done the mental and emotional work. But this disconnect from my body, from sensation, from pleasure, it remains. I live entirely in my head. My body is just something that carries my brain around. Beto listened with complete attention, occasionally nodding but never interrupting. When Diana finished, he sat quietly for a moment before speaking. What you're describing is somatic dissociation, he said gently. It's extremely common, especially among high-achieving professionals who live primarily in analytical thinking. The mind becomes so dominant that the body essentially gets abandoned. He explained that libido, sexual energy, wasn't just about sex. It was life force, creative energy, the fundamental drive to be alive and engaged with existence. When that energy is blocked or dormant, everything else goes dim too, Beto said. You can't feel sexual pleasure because you can't feel pleasure generally, and vice versa. It's all interconnected. Can it be restored? Diana asked, hearing the vulnerability in her own voice. Not only can it be restored, it will be, Beto replied with quiet confidence. Your body hasn't forgotten how to feel. It's just in protective shutdown mode. Our work together will be about creating enough safety for your system to come back online. He outlined his approach. They'd start with basic nervous system regulation and breath awareness, then move into somatic practices to release chronic tension, and eventually work with his intimate alchemy technique, a method for consciously cultivating and circulating sexual energy. We'll move at your pace, Beto assured her. There's no timeline, no pressure. Each session is a layer of reconnection. Diana left with a simple assignment. Place her hands on her body for 10 minutes each day and simply notice, without judgment, without expectation, if she could feel anything at all. Sessions 2 through 5, the first sensations. The early weeks were frustrating. During her home practices, Diana would place her hands on her heart or belly and try to feel. She really tried. But there was just nothing. Or almost nothing. Maybe a vague awareness of temperature, of contact, but no real sense of connection. This is completely normal, Beto reassured her at the second session. You've spent years shutting down sensation. Your nervous system won't wake up immediately just because you've decided to pay attention. This is a gradual process of rebuilding trust. He taught her specific breathing techniques, not just deep breathing, but patterns designed to activate different parts of the nervous system. Breathing that brought warmth to the belly, that created internal movement, that signaled safety to her autonomic nervous system. By the third session, Beto introduced gentle movement. Nothing complex. Small pelvic tilts, slow hip circles, movements Diana probably hadn't done since childhood. Most of us learn to hold our bodies rigid, especially the pelvis and hips where sexual energy resides, Beto explained as he guided her. These movements might feel strange at first, but they're natural. Your body remembers. You just need to give it permission. Diana felt awkward initially, self-conscious. But Beto created such a judgment-free environment that she gradually relaxed. And then, during a slow hip circle, she felt something. Just a flash, but undeniable. A small wave of warmth, a spark of actual sensation. She stopped abruptly, eyes wide. You felt something, Beto observed, a slight smile on his face. I think so, Diana said, almost afraid to acknowledge it. It was small, but it was real. It wasn't just thought. It was physical sensation. "That's the beginning," Beto said with evident satisfaction. "Your body is starting to remember that it's safe to feel." Over the following weeks, these moments of sensation became more frequent. During deep breathing, Diana sometimes felt tingling in her hands. During movement, she occasionally felt warmth in her lower belly. Nothing dramatic, but cumulatively significant. And something else was changing. Diana began noticing things she'd ignored for years. The taste of her morning coffee, the texture of her favorite sweater, the feeling of sun on her face during a walk around Lady Bird Lake. "My world is becoming less gray," she reported to Beto at the 5th session, "like colors are gradually returning." Session 6, the first release. At the 6th session, Beto introduced deeper somatic work, therapeutic touch designed to release chronic tension stored in muscles and fascia. "I'm going to work on areas where you likely carry a lot of holding," he explained. "Shoulders, neck, jaw, hips. You'll remain fully clothed, and I'll ask permission before touching any area. If anything feels uncomfortable in any way, you tell me immediately." Diana lay on the massage table, covered with a light sheet. Beto began working on her shoulders, applying firm but gentle pressure to points of tension. "Breathe into where I'm touching," he instructed. "Imagine the breath going directly to these muscles, bringing space, release." As Beto worked, Diana was shocked by how much pain she discovered in her own body. Her shoulders were incredibly tight, almost petrified. Her jaw was clenched in ways she hadn't even noticed. "You're holding your body in constant defensive posture," Beto observed, "like a permanent shield. We're teaching your body that it can lower its guard." When he moved to work on her hips, applying pressure through the sheet, never touching her skin directly, something unexpected happened. As he pressed a specific point in her left hip flexor, a wave of emotion surged through Diana. She began to cry. Not gentle tears, but deep sobs that came from somewhere beyond conscious thought. "The body stores what the mind tries to forget," Beto said softly, adjusting but not stopping the work. "Let it out. This is release. This is healing." Diana cried for several minutes while Beto continued the work, holding safe space for the emotional release. When the tears finally subsided, she felt strangely lighter, as if something heavy she'd been carrying unknowingly had been set down. "What was that?" she asked, her voice hoarse. "Somatic memory," Beto explained. "Emotions, experiences, trauma. It all gets stored in the body. When we release physically, we release emotionally too. You don't need to understand intellectually what was released. Your body knows, and that's enough." Sessions 7 through 9. Rediscovering touch. Over the following sessions, Beto taught Diana about conscious self-touch, a practice she would do alone at home. "Most of us touch ourselves only functionally," he explained, "to wash, to scratch, to tend to pain. But we rarely touch ourselves with appreciation, with tenderness, with genuine presence. This is an essential component of reconnection." He guided her through the practice in the office first, so she understood the intention. It wasn't about creating sexual arousal. It was about recognition, about honoring the body as the home of consciousness. "Touch your arm as if you're meeting it for the first time," Beto instructed. "Notice texture, temperature. Don't judge, don't analyze, just feel." Diana practiced, sliding her hand along her own arm. At first it was mechanical, strange, but gradually, as she breathed and stayed present, she began to actually feel. The softness of the skin on her inner elbow, the fine hairs, the warmth of her own palm. "Now do this at home," Beto said, "but expand it to your whole body. 15 minutes daily of conscious touch, with full presence. No areas are off limits, but there's also no goal. You're not trying to arouse yourself. You're simply recognizing yourself, connecting. The first attempts at home were uncomfortable. Diana felt foolish, awkward, self-conscious even though she was alone. But she persisted, and something remarkable began to happen. One evening, while consciously touching her own face, tracing her jawline, feeling her lips, running her fingers across her eyebrows, Diana experienced a moment of pure presence. She wasn't thinking about the past or future, wasn't analyzing or judging. She was simply there, feeling, being. And in that moment of total presence, she felt something she hadn't experienced in years. A gentle wave of pleasure. Not sexual necessarily, but undeniably pleasurable. A soft warmth, a sense of, this feels good, a small spark of aliveness. Tears came to her eyes, tears of recognition, of reunion. At the next session, she shared the experience with Beto, still emotional about it. I felt pleasure, she said, marveling at the simplicity of it. Just from touching my own face with attention. After years of feeling nothing, that tiny moment of this is good felt like a miracle. Beto smiled broadly. It is a miracle. Your nervous system is relearning that pleasure is safe, that sensation is safe. Everything expands from here. Session 10. The Revelation. At the 10th session, something fundamental crystallized for Diana. They were doing deeper breath work, a technique Beto called breath of fire, combined with vocal toning. The idea was to generate energy quickly and then use voice to move it through the body. Diana was lying down, breathing rapidly and rhythmically, making sounds at different pitches as Beto guided her. She felt ridiculous at first, but then dropped into an altered state, not thinking, just experiencing. And then the revelation came, not in words, but in deep bodily understanding. She had shut down pleasure because pleasure meant vulnerability. If she could feel pleasure, she could also feel pain. If she could desire, she could be rejected. If she allowed her body to feel fully, she'd have to face all the ways she'd been hurt, dismissed, overlooked. The disconnection hadn't been accidental. It had been protection. Her body, in its wisdom, had created a barrier between her and sensation to protect her from more pain. But in doing so, it had also cut off access to joy, to pleasure, to vitality. Diana opened her eyes, tears streaming from the corners into her hair. I understand now, she said to Beto, her voice filled with wonder. I didn't just lose connection to pleasure. I actively shut it down. My body was protecting me. Beto nodded slowly. Yes, and now that you understand that consciously, you can make a different choice. You can thank your body for the protection it offered, and also tell it that you're ready to feel again. That pleasure is worth the risk of vulnerability. Pleasure is worth the risk of vulnerability, Diana repeated, letting the words sink in. It was a truth she would need to choose actively, repeatedly. Beto leaned forward. There's another aspect to this too. You live so intensely in your mind, designing, analyzing, problem-solving, that your body became just a vehicle for your intellect. But your body isn't just a vehicle. It's part of who you are. And sexual energy, libido, is the bridge between body and mind, between physical and spiritual. He paused. When you reconnect with your sexuality, with your life force energy, you reconnect with the totality of who you are, not just the architect, not just the thinker, but the complete, embodied, alive woman. Session 11. Preparing for Intimate Alchemy. At the next session, Beto introduced the concept of intimate alchemy in detail. You've come a long way, he said. You're feeling again, connecting with your body, allowing pleasure. I believe you're ready to learn the practice that can completely transform your relationship with your sexual energy. He explained that intimate alchemy was a tantric practice he'd developed, combining ancient techniques with modern understanding of neurobiology and energy work. Traditional Tantra teaches that sexual energy is the most potent transformative force available to us, Beto said. But in conventional sexuality, that energy is built up and then released through orgasm. In intimate alchemy, we learn to build the energy and then circulate it through the entire body, using it to nourish, heal, vitalize. The practice, he explained, involved conscious self-touch, combined with specific breathing patterns, intuitive body movement, vocalization, and visualization of energy moving through the body's energy centers. You'll learn to generate sexual energy consciously, Beto said. And then, instead of focusing it only genitally or seeking quick release, you'll use breath and intention to move that energy up your spine, through your heart, to the crown of your head. It's literally alchemy, transforming base sexual energy into elevated life force that nourishes your entire being. Diana listened with complete attention. This is practiced alone? Yes, initially it will be, Beto confirmed. The goal is for you to become completely autonomous in working with your own energy. Eventually, if you choose, these techniques can be integrated with a partner, but the foundation is your individual practice. He spent the rest of the session teaching the fundamentals, the breathing patterns, the pelvic movements, how to make sounds that helped move energy, how to visualize energy flow. Practice the components separately first, Beto instructed. Master the breathing, then the movements, then the sounds. When all of that feels natural, you'll combine everything into the full practice. The practice. First week. Diana prepared her bedroom carefully for the first attempt at intimate alchemy. She cleaned the space, lit candles, played soft ambient music Beto had recommended, nature sounds and gentle frequencies. She took a long, warm bath with essential oils, consciously releasing tension from her body. Lying on her bed, wearing comfortable, loose clothing, she began with the breathing, the patterns she'd practiced. Deep inhales into the belly, long exhales with sound, building a rhythm, creating a foundation of presence. She placed her hands on her heart, feeling the beat, then on her belly, feeling the breath, anchoring herself in the present moment, in her body, in sensation. Following Beto's recorded guidance, she began conscious self-touch. She didn't go directly to genital areas, but started by honoring her whole body as sacred territory. Her arms, her belly, her breasts, her thighs. Each touch was slow, present, appreciative. And as she touched and breathed, she felt energy beginning to build. A gentle warmth, a soft tingling, a sense of growing aliveness. When her hands eventually moved between her legs, it was with the same quality of reverent presence, not rushing, not seeking a specific outcome, just exploring sensation. And then, genuine pleasure, not muted, not distant, but clear and real. Her body, after so long in silence, was speaking. Diana followed the instructions she'd learned. As pleasure intensified, she used breath to move it upward. She visualized golden light rising from her pelvis up her spine. She made sounds, soft moans that seemed to amplify the sensation and move it through her. Her body began moving spontaneously, hips undulating, back arching, a dance her body knew intuitively even though her mind wasn't directing it. Waves of pleasure moved through her, not concentrated in one spot, but radiating. Through her belly, her chest, her throat. Warmth, tingling, vitality pulsing. It wasn't exactly a traditional orgasm, though there was intense physical pleasure. It was more a full-body experience. Every cell vibrating with energy, sensation moving like currents through her. And in the middle of this experience, Diana had a moment of profound recognition. This was connection. She was completely present in her body, with her body. Not observing from outside, but inhabiting, feeling, being. When the waves gradually subsided, she lay still, her body humming softly, tears of joy streaming down her face. For the first time in years, maybe decades, Diana felt alive in her own body. Not just thinking about being alive, but experiencing vitality directly. Session 12, Integration. When Diana returned to Beto's office a week later, she was transformed. There was a light in her eyes, a fluidity in her movements that hadn't existed before. "I've practiced every day," she shared, barely able to contain her excitement. "And each time it gets deeper. Not just the physical experience, but what it represents. I'm reconnecting with myself in ways I didn't know were possible." Beto smiled, clearly pleased. "Tell me more." "Intimate alchemy isn't just about sex or orgasm," Diana began, trying to articulate the understanding that had come through practice. "It's about reclaiming my vitality, my life force. When I learn to consciously generate and circulate this sexual energy, I'm literally filling myself with life." She leaned forward, eyes bright. "And the effect is spreading to everything. Food has flavor again. Music moves me. I laughed genuinely yesterday. Not a polite smile, but real laughter from my belly. I'm feeling again." Beto nodded. "Yes. Sexual energy is inseparable from life energy. When one is blocked, the other is too. When one awakens, the other awakens with it." "But there's more," Diana continued. "I realized my disconnection wasn't just about protection from pain. It was also about control. I could control my mind, my thoughts, my intellectual analyses. But I can't control sensation, bodily experience. To feel, I had to surrender. And surrender felt dangerous." She paused, letting the words settle. "Intimate alchemy is teaching me that surrender isn't loss of power. It's access to a different kind of power. The power of being fully present, fully alive, fully embodied." "That's profound insight," Beto said. "And what does this mean for your life now?" Diana considered. "It means I'm not divided between mind and body anymore. I am both. I can be the analytical architect and the sensual woman. I can design buildings and experience pleasure. They're not separate identities. They're integrated aspects of who I am." 3 months later, embodied living. Diana stood barefoot in Zilker Park, her toes in the cool grass, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and purple over the Austin skyline. She could feel everything: the texture of grass beneath her feet, the breeze on her skin, the warmth of fading sunlight on her face. Her daily intimate alchemy practice had become as essential as eating or sleeping. Some days it was deeply sensual, leading to full-body orgasmic experiences that left her vibrating with vitality. Other days it was gentler, more meditative, just a reconnection with her life force. But every day, the practice reminded her she wasn't just a mind. She was a living, breathing, sensing body. And that embodiment was sacred. Her architectural work had transformed too. She wasn't just designing about human experience now. She was designing from human experience. Her buildings had become more intuitive, more emotionally resonant. Clients commented that her new designs had a quality they couldn't quite name, but could feel. And yes, she had begun dating again. A kind man she'd met at a sustainable design conference, someone who valued both deep conversation and physical connection. Their intimacy was unlike anything Diana had experienced before: present, conscious, mutually pleasurable. But most importantly, she didn't depend on him for her vitality. She came to intimacy from a place of fullness, not emptiness. Her sexual energy was hers, something she could cultivate independently and then choose to share. Sitting on the grass, Diana closed her eyes and breathed deeply. Her body hummed with gentle life force, no longer numb, no longer disconnected, but alive, present, hers. She had spent years living from the neck up, treating her body as mere transport for her intellect. But through the work with Beto, through intimate alchemy, through choosing embodiment over dissociation repeatedly, she had reconnected. Diana opened her eyes and smiled at the twilight sky. She was alive. Truly, completely, deliciously alive. Not just functioning, not just surviving, but thriving, feeling, experiencing the fullness of human existence. She had reconnected with pleasure after years of disconnection. And in doing so, she had reconnected with life itself. And that changed absolutely everything.